Hey, welcome back, gang, to the Ball for Life podcast. We're your host, Tim. This is my brother, Bob. And, man, we are excited about football season. Practice has started. And if you guys are excited about it, go ahead and go down to the comment section. Give us a Go Vols or a Go Big Orange. Let us know how you're ready for this season, because I know I am, Bob.
I am pumped, Tim. I am pumped. I am ready. All right, guys. One thing I'm going to talk about first, right off the bat. Our sign winner has not responded yet. We're going to give him a week to respond back, and if he hasn't, we're going to draw from the pool we had before. So if you didn't win the sign, and obviously you probably didn't because you're still watching this video, and you haven't replied back, so we'll give you a shot to win it again.
Right, big from the same people that
Yeah.
already did. We're not going to put more people on it. But if you haven't already subscribed, do so. Leave us a comment. Give us a like if we earned it for you today.
That's right.
I know we got a lot of interesting things today, Bob, to talk about.
Yeah,
we got football season.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it was upon us. A lot of stuff this first week to talk about. Rick Barnes had some wild comments to me.
Yeah.
To make, I was shocked
Out of
he
character.
said this right here.
Out of character.
And then on the football recruiting, Bob, we had some huge news this week, but we also kind of ended the week on a bad note, some rough news, and how will the staff shift to handle this? But anyway, Bob, let's go back to the good part of this stuff. Fall practice is here.
That's right, Tim. And the first thing that when you start watching some of these practice videos, I guess the thing that gets me pumped as much as anything is, and it's just what my eyes see, but whatever other people that watch practice talk about, it's the fact that we have a different level. Each year we seem like I have a little bit more of a higher level of physical bodies.
Well, good way to put it, Bob. 4 years ago when he got, 5 years ago now when he got here, we did not look like a upper level SEC football team. We looked more like a Mississippi State or I won't say Vanderbilt, but we did not have the guys that looked like Tarzan getting off the bus.
Yeah, you always, there's an old term in football that I've heard for several years is the getting off the bus guys. The first guys off the bus is like, oh crap, look at them guys. And
we've got a few of them now.
We have a few. That was one of the things that was talked about for a long time was when you look at Georgia and Alabama, a lot more of them kind of guys. But we are quickly catching up, and we're looking good there. Right? We got a lot of guys that's big and can run. And but first thing, Tim, I think there's a few Vol fans that might be curious about the quarterback battle.
You think somebody's even talked about that?
I'd say it's brought up every now and then, but not a whole lot to read into the first 2 or 3 practices, Tim, other than it seems to be a true competition.
Well, it is. I mean, look, unless you're got an inside source right down in the university, I can tell you that the first practice, I think Merklinger looked like the most accurate quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Second practice, it was Aguilar.
Right.
The third one, Saturday, it looked like no one.
At least from what you could see in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. But
Which is only 5 minutes of a 2-hour.
Exactly. You take almost nothing away from it if you're not actually getting to watch the whole practice.
Yeah.
Now, that said, though, I know everyone's got their own favorites. And if you guys, put down in the comments who you all think. Put, is it going to be Jake? Just put Jake down there. If you think it's going to be Joey, put Joey. If you think it's going to be George, that comes the dark horse of it, come in. Who do you think will take the starting quarterback those first snaps against Syracuse here in just a few weeks?
I find it interesting, Tim, that when you get to talk about these 3 guys, the youngest guy is the most talented, I believe.
I would say so. I think so.
And then you got the next guy who's got some game rep, but
a year and a half in the system.
Right. But not, that's just in the system.
But no actual game experience to really speak of.
Yeah. Probably in the talent area, probably the second most talented. And you got the guy who was the most experienced as far as playing, who has thrown for a lot of yards, no experience in the offense, and maybe the least talented, maybe.
Possibly. I mean, honestly, it's hard to say at this stage.
It really is. But I mean,
Uh,
from a ratings coming out of high school,
ratings coming out of high school,
but
absolutely.
that's
are,
that's
for what it's worth.
for what it's worth, right? Correct. So who knows on that one? But there's no real clarity on that yet.
No, but we got next weekend, Saturday, I believe they got their first scrimmage, and that will go a long way, and to start putting a pecking order out there.
Absolutely, because this game, I don't. From everything I've heard, they'll probably scaled down to 2 within probably a week from now, probably Tim, something like that. Maybe not officially, but as far as practice reps, and then those 2 will probably battle it out for a couple weeks. But yeah, that's where we're at on the quarterbacks. But let's talk about the linebackers, Tim. And I tell you what, if you ain't pumped,
Well, first off, listening to William Inge talk, he's not a guy that badmouths his team.
I mean, you think you've got Dick Butkus and Ray Lewis at linebacker out there.
Yeah, he pumps his guys up. But I will say this right here, I think he's got a lot in his room to pump. I know he loves Arian Carter, who's the leading returning tackler. I mean, and I think he could have a big jump this year. He's been a growth process, a developmental process. A guy that didn't really play very much linebacker at all in high school.
Right.
He's been learning.
Yeah, it's basically his senior year. So,
yeah.
I mean,
And
I can understand why it might take him a little bit. But the kid's smart, though. So, I mean, he's just a sponge, I reckon.
Yeah, and you've got Jeremiah Teaglander, tough-nosed kid. You got to be a fan favorite because he'll come down and smack you. I mean, you love to see the intensity he brings out there. But I don't know about you, Bob. My favorite for a year now has been Edwin Spillman, and Edge. He outdoes himself sometimes, Bob, and how he talks about these guys.
Well, he does, and he gets you pumped. But I will say this though, we went back just out of curiosity. Went back a year or 2 before he come to Tennessee, and was listening to his interviews there.
When he was at Washington.
Yeah,
Washington.
He was, not negative by no means, but
he's a positive guy. But he didn't speak of them.
But he didn't. Yeah, for a team that made it to the national championship game, he did not act as pumped about the other linebackers as he does ours.
No, I mean he called Spillman the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
he said he's got the speed and mobility of Arian Carter. He runs through the wall for you like Teaglander would. He called him yeast, Bob.
Yeah,
yeast. He says because he's always rising up or something.
That's right. Yeah.
But I mean, those 3 right there are a tremendous start. And then I tell you what, so much inexperience and youth behind them.
Yeah.
But the talent level in this room compared to what it was 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Honestly, man, we're at our heyday.
There's more coming.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 top 5-ish linebackers in the nation already committed to us. But for this class right here, I'm excited to see.
We have championship level linebackers, I feel like.
I agree with that. I think it'll be one of the strengths of the whole team.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see who's that 4th or 5th linebacker, though. I mean,
yeah.
I'm assuming Burns might be one of those 2. I mean, he was hurt last year.
Probably, yeah, especially beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But one of those young studs could end up,
Yeah, you got Ains was here for the spring. He got a lot.
Which I've heard one person say a more athletic, a little bit faster Teaglander. So, I mean.
That wouldn't be bad at all.
No, I mean, that's all Teaglander lacks is just a little bit more speed,
Mm-hmm. And, of course, we're both watching, or everyone's watching for the Jadens, Perlotti and Harmon. I think Perlotti's going to start at the mic right now, and Harmon's going to be more the wheel because he's got more sideline to sideline speed. He can cover better. It's got to put on some weight. But that room right there, Bob, gives you a lot to be excited about. But
I think you'll hear more about those guys as fall progresses because those guys missed spring basically due to injuries. So I think you'll get a lot more.
Oh yeah, they're behind right now.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Um, some interesting things through these first 3 days, Bob. Um, I think everybody's been talking about, well, what are we going to do some tweaks of the system? Are we changing our system some? And I'll be honest about it. I don't, regardless of what I've seen on some other people's podcasts, I don't see a massive change in our offense.
Not at the running back spot, and that's where I think you hear a lot of stuff out there, people claiming to know, um, and that to me that don't make a lot of sense to me. I mean,
Well, I expect to see a handful of things here and there, but I know already they've been doing some putting people in motion. You remember Golish did a bit more of that in 2022,
if I was an
with a lot of
OC,
success.
if I was an OC, motion would be, you know, uh,
Paramount.
a big part of my offense
Well, the only negative on this right here for us
is
is,
the speed.
right, we want to hurry up, get to the line, and snap it fast, which I think we will continue to do.
When
But
I, when I
occasionally,
was
throw that in there.
when I was the OC of the flag football team, I'm just telling you,
Legend, Bob,
we had a
a legend.
potent offense that used a lot of motion, and I keep sending Heupel some plays I drawed up, and
Yeah, well, cool. I saw a couple of you guys kept in motion, kept running off the field, and got Gatorade on the sideline when they're supposed to be going after a pass, Bob.
well, that's probably yeah. I had one that was doing snow angels back there at the back of the field one time. I was counting them up. We're a person short, and he's back there doing snow angels back there in the grass. But yeah, that's fun times, fun
I
times.
mean, you should have made them run.
Yeah, but anyway, that's good times. But well, Tim, let's get into something just as exciting as football right now is some comments from Rick Barnes. Man, I tell you, usually Barnes is kind of like the kind of reminds me of Johnny Majors.
Oh, he's a lot quicker to badmouth
Majors
players
players
than
than
he
his
is.
team. You know,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
can get a winning record. Doing good. These guys can't tackle, can't. You know,
yeah. Barnes is he's more old school when it comes to that right there. But this week he come out and had some to me shocking statements about when asked how he thought of how the summer went for his team, and he gave it a perfect 10. He thought they had several players that surprised them, and the team chemistry, which I'm sure was probably his thing he was concerned with, losing
yeah,
so many people and bringing
yeah.
so many newcomers in. He thought the team chemistry was through the roof.
Yeah, and another comment. I think Rob Lewis said, from people he's heard from that said that that our point guard and might, Jacoby Gillespie, our transfer point guard,
Yeah, Greenville boy.
uh, might be better, and he's made it sound like it was almost a for sure thing, better than Ziegler.
And I tell you what, if that's anywhere close to that, then watch out for this team because Ziegler's, I've got to put up there with any point guard we've had because we've not been blessed with a whole lot of great point guards.
Right.
Uh, and he was certainly at the very top of that list. Now, Gillespie can come in and have that kind of impact, and I reckon he's a much better shooter than Zakai was.
Yeah.
Um, so, man, that gets you excited. Now, one slight negative this week, Nate Ament got hurt up a little bit, got a
Nothing
little
serious.
brace on his wrist, but
Nothing serious.
nothing serious. They said if they had a game today, he would be playing.
Yeah, you just don't want
super cautious. But all the early returns on him is uh, wow.
Oh yeah, he's going to be a.
Honestly, 5 stars have come here, Bob, and really fizzled out mostly under Rick.
Really have, but we've not had one at this level.
No, they're already talking like he might, be one of the top 4 draftees in next year's NBA draft. And everything we're hearing so far is like, he might be one of the top 4.
Yeah, hasn't this
Next
year's
year's draft.
Well, we talked basketball. Let's go back to football a little bit, Tim, and talk a little bit about recruiting. We had one heck of a week uh, from a wide receiver standpoint. Well, potential wide receiver. You got
Athletes, how's that?
two athletes, two guys that can play DB or wide receiver.
Yeah, although I don't see that in Wyatt's future though.
No, I think he's
But
DB.
yeah, Joel Wyatt. Okay, let's start with him. He was the first one, Tennessee kid who flirted with Vanderbilt of all teams.
Yeah,
Wanted to stay
family
in state,
connection.
yeah, and things of that nature. Yes, tremendous athlete. We wanted him as a Leo. We thought he's got somebody we could put 40 pounds on,
Right.
but he's like, I'm a DB, boys, and if you don't let me play DB, I'm going to Vandy. Well, we don't hear that very often, but you know,
Right.
we did say, yeah, okay, let's bring you on in. You're a DB for us, and if you gain weight, we'll talk about it then. So, but that was a huge get for Tennessee. But
Well, I mean, in his defense, he went to these camps, a
it's
real
your way.
recent camp, and competed at playing corner and did dang well, super good, to the point that, I think Tennessee just simply like, well, you know what? Maybe you are 6'4", but maybe you can play some DB,
Hmm.
you know?
And of course, the shocker nationally was Salisi Moa, uh, top 50, 6-inch player in the country, number 2 athlete.
Yeah, both these guys were right around that same area, wasn't they?
Yes,
Around top 50.
yeah,
I
both
mean,
were.
that's huge gets, huge gets.
Yeah, Moa's from Utah. A lot of people thought, national people thought he would go to Utah. His dad played there. But as we mentioned a few months back on this channel, he has 2 brothers who had already went through the recruiting process. One had committed to Utah and then decommitted, and they both wound up going to um, BYU.
Yeah,
And neither one of them stayed very long. Both of them decided home, it wasn't that important to stay home.
right.
One went to Connecticut, one went to Michigan State. And as we've mentioned before, maybe the family understands that you need to go where you want to go.
Well, I think as you mentioned to me, Tim, was, uh, why not shoot your shot at some place like Tennessee? You can always, if things don't go well, you can always transfer back to the home state school and, do just fine. I mean, this is not a place where
Yeah, don't
you're
take your second choice with the thinking of I'll go transfer to my first choice if it don't work out. Take your
right,
first choice, transfer back.
right. Yeah.
That's it.
So, I mean, the huge gets, Tim. I mean, that you keep getting guys like that. This, there was some talk here a couple months or maybe a month ago, I guess it was. One of the national guys, well, Tennessee have a shot at top 5 class? These 2 guys were 2 guys that you needed in order to get that top 5 class. You get these 2 guys. You get the number 1 running back, Savion Hyde. Number 1 wide receiver, Tristan Keys. And you throw in one of those 2 big Leos we're after, Gibbons.
And Hezekiah Harris.
And,
Yeah, both of them committed elsewhere right now, but both of them could. We've not given up. They're
Yeah.
definitely flip targets for
I
us.
tell you what, I take that class any day. Any day of the week, and that's got to push us close to a top 5 class, I would think, if you're able to get those guys with
The people who just picked
we
up.
just picked up, and the rankings. When you got guys like these out here in the top 50, man, they're in that 5-star
Borderline, right?
borderline range. They could have a good senior year and get in that 5-star range.
Right, which doesn't necessarily make them better when they get to UT,
No,
but
as far as
the prestige
Yeah.
of your program. You always want your program's name out there. And maybe it doesn't matter as much now as it did 20 years ago. But 20 years ago, other players looked at who was having the top classes,
right.
and they gravitated toward them.
Yeah,
Now with NIL, that's not as much of a thing. But honestly, the same things that mattered 20 years ago still matter today. It's just that we have one more large piece of the pie that
Right.
you have to consider. But
that's true.
But we did have some rough news, some bad news, and that was the decommitment of long-time commitment tight end Carson Sneedball.
Yeah, not really a surprise though, because Snead's been a guy who has been what I would call a soft commitment for what, 6 months probably?
Well, ever since his brother, who was a walk-on wide receiver on the team, was not put on scholarship, he left us. He left the team, went to North Carolina. By the way, Carson committed to North Carolina.
Right.
Uh, and I can't blame him for wanting to go where his brother plays. I mean, I'd want
Yeah.
to do that myself, possibly. It'd be on my mind anyway.
Right.
But now that leaves us without a tight end in this class. Now we have 5 currently on the roster. Only one of them will be leaving after this year.
Right.
Um,
But
so
I mean,
what do we do with that, Bob? What does the staff look at that now?
well, I mean, they've rumor has it they were going after a Kentucky commit, Watkins, and see.
If we can get some traction there.
Yeah,
Maybe
and I reckon at one
Canada.
time he was a big fan of Tennessee, so we got that going for us. And if we don't, not the end of the world, but I think we probably want to take at least one tight end in this class. But we have,
Well, you have a general rule. I'd say you want to take one per class, but we did take 2 last class.
we did, and
So,
we like
to give
the
you a
crap
range.
out of the 2 we got,
Mhm.
and
And there's always the portal.
always the portal. And that's one good thing about the portal. In years past, you looked at it from a 2-year period. What do you have in a 2-year stretch? You need to have basically an entire offensive line, an entire wide receiver group. Every position should be filled in a 2-year span.
Right. If you've got a gap in those 2-year spans, you've got an upcoming problem.
You got a big problem. And but now you don't have to take a guy who you feel like is not worthy of a scholarship. You can just simply wait a few months and get a guy who's already proved it at probably a smaller school or something of that nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, and consider too, not this season, but next season, most likely going to 105 scholarships. So you could probably take maybe 2 if you thought you had to have them.
Right.
Grab a couple of tight end portals in the portal.
Right.
So I don't think this is a major concern if we don't grab Watkins away from Kentucky.
Yeah, I would.
But I do believe we're going to try to
Yeah, I think they're okay with him. Now, if they don't get him, then I could see them possibly not going after. They'll go after a couple more people, but I wouldn't just sign one to sign one, not with the portal and the way it is today.
I couldn't agree more, Bob.
Well, Tim, I think that's about it. Other than we got a lot of practices coming up, so a lot of good information coming up, and I'm excited about this Tennessee team getting going, man.
Oh, definitely, Bob. Again, guys, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Get us to 1,000 this week.
And if you did win this, we
Give us
got
a call
to
back. Yeah. And if you didn't win it,
you're
watch next week. You might.
You might. So there it is.
Yeah. So, and that's it, Bob. Other than go Big Orange.
Go Vols.